You guys wondered where this intro song went? I had to bring it back. Let's go! Rent got too expensive, had to leave LA. San Diego's where I'm headed, I'm mixing it up like a parfait. Playing poker every day. Going all in with these fish like I'm at an all-you-can-eat buffet. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. We're here in the middle of Missouri on our way to Little Rock, Arkansas and Saracen Casino, which if you guys haven't heard of, neither have I until like 2 days ago. But yes, we are going to Little Rock, then I'm gonna drive 45 minutes to Saracen. Check out this abandoned gas station that we're at. Pretty cool for a backdrop for the intro. If you guys are new here, hit the thumbs up button. I'm not always this weird, not always going to these weird locations, but yeah, let's just jump right into the hands. I'm sure it's gonna be nutty here in the middle of Arkansas. Let's go. We're 5 for 5 on the road trip, up over $2,300. From Dallas, we head 5 hours east to Little Rock, Arkansas. Needing fuel to play tonight, I find us a local spot for some fried and blackened catfish. It was out of this world. After getting settled at the hotel, I venture alone 45 minutes further to Saracen Casino. I didn't expect much, but it definitely surprised me. I'm into the 1-3, 75% match the stack for $1,100. First hand of the night, I look down at Jack 10 offsuit from the cutoff. Few limps to me, so I open it up to $15, and we're going to get looked up in 2 spots. Pretty standard so far. We're off 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes decent for us. It's Queen 10-6 with 2 diamonds. When the action checks over to me, I decide to bet out into the field for $15. A little bit small, probably $25 is best. I like my bet nevertheless because it allows the opponents to continue with a lot of draws like Jack 9, King Jack, and any hand with 2 diamonds in it. I have a pair which is decent and only the hijack puts in the call. Bringing in a brick on the turn, it comes the 3 of clubs. When the opponent checks to me for a second time, I decide to continue betting for value with my pair of 10s. I fire out for 20 bucks. He puts in the call once again, and we get a terrible card on the river. The ace of diamonds not only brings in King Jack, but it brings in the front door flush draw. When he checks to me for a third time, I snap check behind with my showdown value, and he ends up turning over King 6 offsuits. We had a pair, and I got a little bit extra value there on the turn, and we're going to scoop down that first pot of the night. $110 coming my way. That last hand was an interesting one to open up the session with. And this next hand, I look down at ace 10 of diamonds. Of course, I'm in the $6 straddle. There's 2 callers and the button decides to raise it up to 26 bucks. The small blind puts in the call, I put in the call, and the cutoff limper puts in the call as well. We're going 4 ways to the flop, which comes 10 high, 10, 9, 9 with 1 diamond. When the action checks over to the button, he decides to bet out for $150 into the $104 pot. Normally, I'd say you have to float this flop and put in the money, but $150 is overbetting the pot. Pretty strange line. There's really no draws on board. Like if it was 10, 9, 9 with 2 spades, I'd be more inclined to call. Sure, you could just have a hand like Queen Jack offsuit. Sure, you could just have a hand like Queen Jack offsuit and going for maximum fold equity, but at the same time, am I really trying to call this 150 and then go bet on the turn river and call it off for stacks? I don't really know. He made it 26 pre. He could still have all of the overpairs. He could even have a hand like ace 9, jack 9, king 9. I just decided to get rid of the hand and pick a better spot. I know it's a little bit nitty, but I think in the long run, it's 150 into 104. We're getting a terrible price. I look to fight another day. Next hand of the night, I look down at 7, 8 of spades. I'm on the button. I put in the straddle once again, and there's 2 callers. Hijack raises it up to 16 bucks. I could be 3-betting in position somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 to 60. Instead, I just put in the call, and 2 others do as well. We're off to a flop, which gives us a ton of outs. It comes Jack 6, 5 with 2 spades. We don't have a straight flush draw, but we have a straight draw and a flush draw. That's pretty great in my eyes. So when the action checks over to me, I bet out for $20. Could even be sizing up larger, like 45 to 50 bucks. Trying to put pressure on any hand that has a weak jack in it. When I bet out for 20, the big blind and hijack both come along, and the turn gives us a pair. Comes the 7 of hearts. When the action checks over to me for a second time, do we go for a bet, putting maximum pressure on our opponents, or do we decide to check behind and realize some more of our equity? We have second pair, and it's unlikely if we bet on this turn anyone's going to fold a hand like Jack 10, King Jack, so I decide to check behind, and that brings in the 5 of clubs on the river. Big blind starts with a check. The hijack now bets out for $95. And the gig's up for me. I fold the ton of outs that I had on the turn and get rid of just my one pair. Lucky for us, the big blind decides to put in the call. The hijack turns over King 8 of diamonds for a complete airball bluff. But lucky for us, the big blind actually did have a jack. He had Jack 8 offsuit. So I guess maybe if I fired the turn and then went all in on the river, he'd fold. It's just not a spot I really wanted to put a ton of pressure on. This early on in the session, I didn't really know how these opponents played, but it's pretty clear they're calling me pretty wide preflop. I need to size up preflop and then get maximum value on boards where I make a good hand. 1,000 in our stack. I look down at 6-8 of hearts from under the gun and I open it up to $15. We're only going to get called from the button. He's in position for us for a King Jack 6 board with 2 hearts. Pretty great spot for us. We have a pair and a front door flush draw. I decided to bet out into him for $10 and he puts in the call. Playing small ball poker here, the 9 of diamonds peels off on the turn and now I bet nearly pot for $40. He's had enough of this. He waves the white flag and we're going to take it down with one pair. 50 extra chips coming my way. Let's spice it up. I look down at 9-8 suited from the cutoff. I decide to raise it up to $15 and we get called by the big blind and the hijack, going 3 ways to a flop, which comes Queen 8-4 with 1 spade. The big blind checks, the hijack is quick to follow and the action's on me, so I bet out for 15 bones into the field. Only the big blind puts in the call and that brings in the turn card, which comes the King of Diamonds. Not a great card, but when the big blind checks over to me, I decide to continue putting pressure on him. I'm going to have a much stronger range of hands when I raise preflop and he doesn't 3-bet me. I'm still going to have all the King Queen, Ace King, King Jack suiteds in my range that would fire on the flop and then want to continue on this turn. So even though I just have third pair, I bet out for $40 and that's going to get the job done. I'm taking down a bunch of little pots with just applying pressure on opponents betting flop and turn. Let's keep up the pressure on the opponents. I look down at King Queen offsuit from middle position and I make a standard open to $15. 4 players put in the call and we see a board which is definitely favorable for us. King Queen 5 with 2 hearts. When the action checks over to me as it should, I decide to bet out into the field for $30. And our buddy JD, who watches the vlog, can you believe that? I have a vlog watcher in Little Rock, Arkansas. He puts in the call. We're off to the turn card, which comes the 10 of diamonds. I bet out for $45 into JD. Got to get some value from JD. I have 2 pair. You could still have a heart flush draw or maybe a hand like Ace Queen, King Jack, something of that nature. So I think $45 is the right price to get called by a multitude of hands. I wouldn't blame anyone for wanting to size up as well, like $75 or $100. He quickly puts in the call and that brings in a pretty safe card. It comes the 8 of clubs. Out of position to JD, I decided to bet small into him. I want to extract value from a queen, so I bet out for $50 and he folds face up 7-4 of hearts. So yeah, I think actually sizing up on the turn is a better play than betting 45. He's going to call me with any of his heart draws, trying to make the vlog, I assume. So I missed a little bit of value there, but still no complaints from me, booking another small win. We're on to the next one, like that Jay-Z song. I look down at Ace 8 of clubs from the big blind. Middle position opens it up to $10 and there's 2 callers. I could go for a 3-bet to around $50, but it seems like I'm playing a little bit passive in this session. I just put in the call. I assume it's with the intention of coolering opponents in a club runout. When the flop gives us top pair, that's great news for us. It comes Ace Jack 5 with 2 spades. The action checks over to the cutoff, who bets out for $15. I decide to put in the call and middle position player calls as well. We're seeing a turn card which comes the 7 of hearts. The action checks through on the turn, bringing in a harmless deuce of clubs on the river. I decide to lead out into the field to extract some value from Queen Jack, King Jack. Maybe some worse aces would pay us off, like Ace 4, Ace 6. $20 seems appropriate. The cutoff puts in the call. I turn over my ace 8, and he flushes us ace 3 offsuit. So yeah, I extracted a little bit more value there. Probably could have sized up. Again, that seems to be the theme of this night so far. Either way, we're up 75 bucks on the session, and we roll into yet another hand looking down at the Cowboys. They missed us. We left Texas, but we're going to get them once again. I'm in the cutoff, and I open it up to $15. Only the small blind calls, and we're heads up to a flop, which comes king 8-5. Bang! We flop top set. Dream spot for us. Not only are there 2 diamonds on board to get value from, opponents could have hands like 6-7, 7-9. There's a lot of hands that we're going to call, I bet. So when he checks over to me, I bet out for half pot for $15. Small blind's not giving up just yet. He puts in the 15 bucks, and we see a board pairing 5 of hearts on the turn, which is great news for us because now we hope the diamond and straight draws come in on the river. Better yet for us, the small blind decides to lead out into me for $25, which makes absolutely no sense. He could be representing a hand like ace 5, or he just wants to see a cheap river card. So I definitely need to raise this up in the neighborhood of $75 to $100. Do I do that? No, I actually decide just to call, which is a disaster. I need to be raising for so many reasons. I gotta get value from any of his 5x holdings. Also pocket 8s, I just need to start getting stacks in. I think the only testament to just calling here is if you look at his stack size, he only started the hand with $150. So that's the only reason why it's okay maybe to call, because the money could just get in on the river. But now say he had $1,050, this is a tragedy to just call. Gotta raise, gotta get the money in the middle. Either way though, when he's short stacked, I put in the call and we see a 10 of hearts on the river, which really shouldn't change hardly anything. He continues for a quarter and I snap put him all in for around $50 more. Eventually he puts in the call and turns over king 8, so he had 2 pair. He definitely would have put the money in on the turn. Either way, the case king comes on the flop and we're going to take down that nice sized pot. But better yet, I finally get to say bang in this video, which is what you guys are all here for, right? Things are going in the right direction. I look down at the ducks from the button. I straddle. There's 4 callers over to me, and I decide to check my options. So we're going to go 5 ways to a flop, which comes king, jack, deuce, bang, back-to-back sets. Bottom set this time, super draw heavy board. It's not out of question that some opponents could have 2 diamonds in their hand, so I definitely want the board to pair on the turn or the river. Middle position decides to lead out for $7. The player to my right puts in the call, and I decide just to put in the call, trying to see the board pair on the turn or no diamond to come in as well. I put in the call, and the player in the +1 position calls as well, and we see another diamond, the 6 of diamonds on the turn. Absolute disaster. Middle position now sizes up to $15, and I put in the call. Player in +1 jams for $59, which is not good news for us. Middle position gets out of the way, and I know I'm behind, but it's only another $44 for me to call. Definitely a losing play in the long run. I'm behind a diamond for sure. What else would he be putting his stack in? But if the board pairs, we're going to scoop the pot. So I decide after little to no thought to toss in a few green chips, and we're off to a river. Pair the board, dealer, please, one time. No, we do not get it. No home corner advantage for me. It comes to 3 of hearts. The opponent, of course, turns over ace-jack offsuit with the ace of diamonds. So just the stone cold nuts there. And he's going to win it. That $193 is getting shipped his way. No worries though, I'm still up 130 bones on the session. With 1200 in my stack, I look down at 6-5 suited from early position. Under the gun opens it up to $10, and the player in the +1 position calls. I put in the call, and 2 others do as well. We see a flop of 10-4-3 with 1 spade. We have open-ended straight draw and the backdoor spade draw, so when the action checks over to me, I decided to take this matter into my own hands, and I bet out for $20, putting pressure on the field. And the player in the +1 position, he calls. So we're going to see a turn card, which pairs the board. Not a great card for us. It comes to 10 of hearts. The only way this could be a good card is if the opponent had a hand like Jack 10, Ace 10, you know, you get the picture. Then I make my straight on the river with a 7 or a deuce. When he checks to me, I decide to check back. There's no way I'm going to get any hands to fold. I pretty much have all the draws locked up. So when I check behind and we see the 7 of clubs on the river, bang, we river the straight. Pretty great spot for us, and it gets even better when he leads out into me for $25. Dream situation for us. This is exactly what we wanted, but then we look at his stack and he doesn't have much more. Everyone's playing short stack here. I have like the entire table and their mother covered, but I just put them all in for around $70 effective. Because a couple people watch my vlog at this table, I decided to be a good host and offer to show one before he decides to make a call. He doesn't want to see one though, and he just calls. He declines seeing a free card for free information and just puts in the call. Okay, you didn't want to see one? I'll show you both. I basically have the nuts on this board unless he has like 10-7, but he's never thinking about it with 10-7, so he mucks his cards. Tried to be nice, it didn't work out for him, and the last hand we get rewarded with the bullets. In the big blind, there's a bunch of limpers, so I raise it up to 20 bucks. Probably could have even made it 25 or 30. We're going to get called in 2 spots. So it's only fitting that this is the hand to wrap up the session. It comes ace, king, queen, bang, we flop a top set of aces. 3 sets to end the night here in Little Rock, Arkansas. I have this board pretty much locked up, but I decided to bet out into the field for 20 bucks. And the player in the +1 position, well, he doesn't know how strong my hand is, and he puts in the call. When the turn comes the deuce of spades, I decide to get tricky now and check the action over to +1. Probably isn't the best play in the long run, but it's going to work out for us here when he takes the bait and bets out for 20 bucks. Now checking here on the turn only works if you're going to plan a check raise, which I have in mind. I decided to check raise him up to 80 bucks. I maybe could even size up to 100. There's really no draws on board unless he has a hand like king jack, king 10, ace 10, ace jack. So when he puts in the call and the jack of clubs peels off on the river, not exactly the best card because a lot of his one pair holdings with straight draws now got there. Either way though, you have to bet until the opponent lets you know that they have you beat. So I decided to bet out for $155 into the $260 pot. I have top set, gotta get that value. But he's smart, he's not gonna let me get any more of his chips. He mucks his cards. And of course, I show the table the last hand of the night. And that's gonna wrap up another decent session. I'm 6 for 6 now on the road trip. Rack up my chips and head over to the cage, exchanging my chips for some cold, hard cash. All right, you guys, that wraps up our session here. Shamika, shout out to her. We walked into the casino and she's like, I saw you in Phoenix. And I was like, no way. She was at our last meetup game. How cool is that?
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, so we got into that game for 1100. Got out for 1454, profit of 354 in a bunch of hours. What do you think of that, Shamika? Is that good?
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, good. You guys are in the area, definitely stop by, say hi to the lovely floor members here. And as always, good luck on the felt. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.